was a lead sponsor of at that particular time. And I recognize the gentleman from California for 12 minutes.
The gentleman's recognized for 12 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, before we went to war, President Bush and other administration officials made 3 promises to the American people. 1, we would find weapons of mass destruction. 2, we would be welcomed as liberators. And 3, the reconstruction of Iraq would pay for itself. Well, all 3 promises proved to be false. Today I will focus on the reconstruction effort in Iraq and the massive waste, fraud, and abuse that have undermined our efforts. Stuart Bowen is the Special Inspector General for Iraq Reconstruction. He often talks about the reconstruction gap, which is the chasm between the President's promises and reality. Mr. Bowen is absolutely right. The gap is enormous, but it is dwarfed by the competency and corruption gaps in Iraq. The consequences of mismanagement and corruption are serious. Waste, fraud, and abuse have flourished. The taxpayer has been repeatedly gouged. Iraq is not being rebuilt. We have lost credibility and are now viewed in Iraq as occupiers, and our troops did not get essential equipment when they needed it. We have now spent $50 billion on Iraq reconstruction, including $30 billion from U.S. taxpayers. Let's look at what we got for the money. Despite spending $2 billion, Iraq's oil production is still well below pre-war levels, running about 500,000 barrels below 2003 levels. We've invested $4 billion into improving electricity generation. Not only is the administration 2,000 megawatts short of reaching its goal for peak output, but generation actually below pre-war levels. And we spend $6 billion on oil production and electricity generation, and we've actually lost ground. Situation is the same for drinking water. In essence, we've squandered $50 billion. Profiteering has been rampant, but the taxpayer has gotten gouged and the work hasn't gotten done. And what's especially shameful about the wasteful spending is that we needed this money for our troops. When we first went into Iraq, our troops didn't have enough body armor. Families had to purchase armor off the internet and ship it to Iraq in a desperate attempt to protect their loved ones. On congressional delegations, individual service members have taken our staffs aside and begged for more night vision goggles. Patriotic Americans even had to donate their frequent flyer miles so troops who were dumped at the Baltimore airport by the Pentagon could make it home for the holidays. This should never have happened. It's inexcusable that our troops face desperate shortages of essential gear while billions of dollars were frittered away. To understand the magnitude of this, there's no better place to start than Halliburton. Halliburton is the largest private contractor operating in Iraq. The company has 3 contracts that total more than $20 billion. We now know that political appointees, not career civil servants, decided to give Halliburton a secret, no-bid contract worth $7 billion to operate Iraq's oil fields. As GAO has reported, the key decision that led to the award of the secret contract violated federal procurement law. When a career attorney properly objected, he was simply overruled. And despite statements from the Vice President, we now know that his Chief of Staff, Scooter Libby, was personally briefed on this entire plan months before the war. The decision to give these lucrative contracts to Halliburton has been expensive. According to Pentagon audits, Halliburton's total unreasonable and unsupported charges exceed $1.4 billion. Well, the examples of waste, fraud, and abuse are numerous. Halliburton charged $45 for a case of soda, $100 per 15-pound bag of laundry. And when they had brand new $85,000 Halliburton trucks, they abandoned them or torched them if they got a flat tire or experienced minor mechanical problems. Halliburton's contracts are cost plus. That means that Halliburton is reimbursed for all of its costs and then receives an extra percentage as additional profit. In practical terms, this means that the more Halliburton spends,